Hello, welcome to another edition of the NFL Fantasy League preview / predictions show. I'm your host and your commissioner, Sam Wood. I'd like to apologise firstly for Simon Kay not being here. We couldn't get our schedules aligned, so it's just going to be me today, I'm afraid, but we hope to get some of the players on this year to talk with them about their weeks, their predictions and other things going on in the league. Today is going to be a two-pronged show. We're going to have our preview for week 2 coming up, and we're also going to look back at week 1, some fantastic games. So let's just jump right in. Let's start at the bottom. The one I predicted to be the worst game is Tom Smith v George Ashley. It's a good win for Tom, 132 points, about a 15-point gap to George. You know, he started really strong, and 2 players gave him the impetus to go on and win this in week 1. You know, I said he comes 8th. Still think there's a good chance of that, but this is a positive sign for the young man, the youngest member of the league, and may this continue for him. We wish him all the best. And as for George Ashley, he's going to have to go to the drawing board and really think about his team, maybe look at the waiver wire. He's going to be down low this week because it's a low scoring affair. So hopefully George can come back strong for week 2. Moving on, we'll move up to the league's laughing stock after the draft, Oliver Hume, going up against the co-commish and league runner-up Craig Willis. Tough week for Craig, tough week, lowest scoring player in the league, you know. That is not a place where you want to be week 1, no matter what he'll say about Gronk, you know. Things didn't look good for him, and he's gonna have to buck his ideas up if he's going to pull it out and get in that top 4 or 5 position that we've predicted him. Ollie, on the other hand, you know, he said to us, watch what happens. I'm confident. He was confident with it, and fair play to him. He's come out with a win, although he wasn't exactly a high scorer like he was last year. He's missed his man Peyton. I know he's missing him. I know he wish he had him, but Peyton didn't do enough for Craig this week, so maybe it's a blessing in disguise for Oliver. But a good game, a solid game. I thought it'd be a bit higher scoring. This was the one I thought would be a really good match. Didn't live up to what we thought it was going to be, but overall a really good game, and Ollie moves forward to week 2 with a win, and I think he's going to do alright this year, to be fair to him, even though his draft was a shocker. Moving on, we move on to Simon Kay, last year's 3rd place, going up against Sam Wood, the league champion. You know, a low scoring game, really, 135 points for Sam. He won't be happy with that, he's not happy with that. Simon, again, probably okay with his score, very low, but I think his team is going to grow, he's going to find it, he's going to get a feel for it, as is Sam. A lot of points on the bench in this game, you know, CJ2 count the bench for Sam, his running backs didn't live up, Ben Tate was poor, Frank Gore didn't get enough of the ball. I think he's going to be hit and miss on the running backs as we predicted early on, but he got enough points from his receivers, you know, none of them great except for Megatron, you know. He needs 1 receiver or maybe even 2 a week, probably 2 a week out of his 4 to have a really good week, maybe 25 points each. That's going to put a big score up for him most weeks. I think he'll do just fine this year. Simon as well, I think he'll be just fine. But low scoring affair, cagey match, not a lot of trash talk for 2 guys who are fiercely competitive. So that's what we like to see in the league. Lastly, we move on to the highest scoring match. We have Charles and we have the rookie Andy Brunning. High scoring, great game. Got to give them both credit, put a lot of points up. You know, it looked for a little while like Charles was going to run away with it, but Andy stuck in there and put up a really good score. Unlucky for the newest member of the league. He's the second highest scoring player this week, but he comes away with a loss, and that's what fantasy football's all about. You've got to beat your guy you're opposite against. Sometimes you don't get the luck, sometimes this year he will, but hopefully we'll see Andy get some good wins this year, and I'm confident for both of these 2 players that they'll be in the mix come week 13-14. Moving on, we're going to move on to week 2. So we're going to start off with 2 teams with a loss. We've got Turbo's MVPs and we've got George's Colts. Now, George's Colts, I think they outscored Craig week 1, you know. I don't think we can see that again. I think Craig's going to run away with it. I really do like Craig's team. Just bring it up now on the old iPad. We've got Peyton Manning going up against Rodgers. That's going to be a great matchup. That's one to watch. The 2 top QBs going up against each other. I think the running back battle is George's to lose, really. He's got some great running backs. Doug Martin's a question mark, so we'll wait and see. But Craig's got a big question mark. Victor Cruz, he looks like he looked like a lost man on the field against Detroit, dropping balls everywhere. Doesn't look like the player he was when the Giants had the Super Bowl run. I'd be concerned if I was Crane. I'd be concerned if I was a Giants fan as well, to be honest. And, you know, the team's solid, but I'm going to give it to... I mean, the NFL is predicting a win for George. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go predict a win for Craig again. Foolish that may be. I think he'll tweak some things. I think he'll come out. I think he'll have a 500 record by the end of week 2. Move on. This is a really interesting match. I like this one a lot. You got Tom Smith, the youngest member of the league, going up against Andrew Brunning, the Badminton Bashers, the rookies of the league. This is an interesting one here, you know. Some big names on both sides of the ball, especially at running back. Jamal Charles didn't have a good week. The first pick in the draft, Randy, did not have a good week first week 1. It's going to need him to bounce back and bounce back big. Marshawn Lynch, on the other hand, a very good week for Tom week 1. Can he keep this going? It looks like he's going to be a very good draft pick for Tom. So we wish them both the best, but I think I'm going to give this one to Andy Brunning. I think he's got points, and I think his man Breeze is going to be the main reason for his win. Quarterbacks are playing a big important role. Brady didn't look good against the Dolphins, put up some okay points, but I think Breeze is going to put up 20 points between them two, and that's going to give him enough of a gap to win this one. Then we move up. We move to a very interesting match. Simon Kay going against Oliver Hume. I like the matchup. You know, Simon struggled week 1. Ollie won, but he also was a low scorer. You know, some interesting decisions for Sire. Is Eddie Lacy going to be available? That's a tricky one for Sire because we're looking at his bench. He's got Ingram, who had a good game, but really he's only got Ingram to come in at the running back position unless he moves Spiller up from the flex and puts in the receiver. But even his receivers on the bench, is he going to go with Ruben Randall? I wouldn't. Michael Floyd, I think Larry's going to see more than him. Trent Williams over at the Terrence Williams over at the Cowboys. I think the depth of Sire's team, I think I maybe overestimated it. I think this is an early sign that he could struggle without a couple of players, and Eddie Lacy's already gone. Alfred Morris doesn't look like the same guy week 1. The Redskins are struggling. I'm going to go for a win for Oliver Hume here. You know, this is my bold prediction of the week, and yeah, I'm going to give it to Oliver. I think his running backs will be a really strong part of his team this year. They'll be the main reason he wins, and he'll win this week, I believe. Finally, we move up to probably the biggest match, the grudge match. You know, these guys don't get on, don't like each other when it comes to fantasy football. Trades are being offered that are trying to take each other apart, you know, take each other's teams apart, tricks being played, lies, deceits on one player's part, and Charles probably going to take most of the flack for the bad blood in this rivalry. It's a tough one, you know. We're going to have to wait and see what Sam does with his team. I think he's going to have a couple of tricks as well. I think he's going to have a couple of waivers up his sleeve. I mean, I think his bench is going to come into play this week. I think he's going to make some big changes, some bold changes. He may drop one of his big receivers this week. I could see that happening. On Charles' side, I think we're going to see a very simple season from Charles. It's going to be keep the same players constantly. And yeah, Cordell Patterson had a good week. Consistency is going to be the key here. I'm going to go have a win for Charles this week. I think he's got it in him. I think he's going to do. I think Sam's going to take some gambles. But I think it's a Charles win, I'm afraid to say. You know, and Sam's team is looking good, but I don't know if he's strong enough for running back. He's going to have to get it right at running back, and that's why there's the risk involved. If he gets it right, I think he beats Charles, but there's a strong chance he gets it wrong. So I'm going to go win for Charles. But that's our last match of the week, and we look forward to the matches starting tomorrow night. Get your lineup set tomorrow, and all the best from your league commissioner. And I hope to bring on some guests next week when we do our review show. Hopefully do 2 shows, a review show and a preview show. But signing out, Sam Wood, and thank you for listening.